Chapter 1: The Museum of Shadows. In a quiet town on the outskirts of nowhere, there exists a museum that no one ever talks about. A museum shrouded in secrecy, hidden away from the eyes of the world. Rumors whispered in hushed tones speak of strange artifacts, alien corpses, and forbidden knowledge. But most dismiss it as mere urban legend. One day, a young boy named Max, no more than 6 years old, accompanied his father on a trip to this mysterious museum. His father, an archaeologist with a reputation for chasing the impossible, had been invited to examine a recently discovered artifact. Max, being curious and adventurous, tagged along, eager to see what his father often called the unknown. As they walked through the dimly lit halls, Max was drawn to a particular exhibit, a glass case in the center of the room. Inside lay the withered body of what could only be described as an alien. Its skin, gray and leathery, was stretched tight over a thin frame. Its eyes, large and black, seemed to be staring into the void as if waiting for something or someone. Max's small hands pressed against the glass, his breath fogging up the surface. His father was busy talking to the museum curator, discussing the implications of the recent find, but Max couldn't tear his eyes away from the figure on the table. It was as if the alien was silently calling out to him, begging him to listen. Chapter 2: The Awakening. As Max stood there, something strange happened. The lights in the room flickered, and the air grew cold. The alien's eyes, which had been lifeless moments before, suddenly gleamed with an eerie light. Max felt a presence in his mind, a voice not his own whispering strange words he couldn't understand, but somehow he knew it was trying to communicate with him. Before Max could react, the lights returned to normal, and the eerie presence vanished. He stumbled back, his heart pounding in his chest. The alien on the table was once again lifeless, but something had changed, something that only Max could feel. That night, Max was plagued by vivid dreams. In his mind, he saw a world unlike any he had ever known. A desolate planet bathed in twilight, where creatures that looked like the alien in the museum roamed the barren landscape. He saw cities in ruins, ancient monuments crumbling under the weight of time, and a sky filled with strange constellations. But most importantly, he saw the alien, standing before him, trying to tell him something. Chapter 3: The Artifact. Max's father, oblivious to what his son had experienced, had become engrossed in studying the artifact he was invited to examine. It was a small, intricately carved stone tablet, covered in symbols that no human language could decipher. The curator mentioned that it had been found in the same location as the alien body, buried deep beneath the earth in an unmarked grave. The more Max's father studied the artifact, the more obsessed he became. He spent long hours at the museum trying to unlock its secrets. Max, meanwhile, continued to have strange dreams, each one more vivid than the last. He began to realize that the alien wasn't just a figment of his imagination, it was trying to warn him. One evening, Max's father came home looking exhausted but exhilarated. He had finally managed to translate a portion of the symbols on the artifact. According to his findings, the tablet told the story of a great catastrophe that had befallen the alien's homeworld. A cosmic event that had wiped out almost all life, leaving behind only a few survivors who had fled across the stars, searching for a new home. Chapter 4: The Silent Connection. Max's father was eager to share his findings with the world, but Max knew something was wrong. The dreams had become more intense, more urgent. The alien was trying to tell him something else, something that his father's research couldn't explain. One night, unable to sleep, Max sneaked out of his room and made his way to the museum. He had to see the alien again, to understand what it was trying to tell him. As he approached the glass case, the same cold sensation washed over him. The lights flickered, and the alien's eyes once again glowed with that eerie light. This time, Max didn't back away. He focused on the alien, trying to connect with the presence he felt in his mind. Slowly, the images in his dreams began to make sense. The alien wasn't just a refugee from a dying world, it was a guardian, the last of its kind, protecting a secret that could save or destroy Earth. Max saw visions of the artifact, the same one his father had been studying, but in these visions, it was more than just a stone tablet. It was a key, a map to a hidden power that had the potential to reshape reality itself. But it was also a curse. one that had brought destruction to the aliens' homeworld and would do the same to Earth if it fell into the wrong hands. Chapter 5. The Revelation. Max's father, unaware of the danger, was preparing to reveal his findings to the scientific community. But Max knew he had to stop him. The alien had shown him the truth. The artifact was a Pandora's box, and once opened, it couldn't be closed. Desperate, Max tried to warn his father, but he wouldn't listen. He was too blinded by the prospect of fame and recognition. Max had no choice but to take matters into his own hands. He returned to the museum one last time, determined to destroy the artifact before it was too late. But when he arrived, he found that the museum was already in chaos. The curator had also been researching the artifact and had come to a terrifying conclusion. It wasn't just a key, it was a beacon. And by deciphering its symbols, they had unknowingly activated it, sending a signal out into the cosmos. Chapter 6. The Invasion. The signal had been received. As Max watched in horror, the sky above the museum began to darken. Strange lights appeared in the sky, and the ground shook with the force of something massive descending upon the Earth. The aliens' warning had come true. The beings that had destroyed its world had followed the signal to Earth, and they were coming for the artifact. Max, with the help of the curator, tried to reach his father, but it was too late. The invaders had arrived, and they weren't interested in diplomacy. They wanted the artifact, and they were willing to destroy anything and anyone who stood in their way. In a desperate bid to stop the invaders, Max did the only thing he could. He activated the alien's power. The connection he had forged with the alien in his dreams became real, and he found himself wielding a force that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. But even with this newfound power, Max knew that he couldn't defeat the invaders alone. Chapter 7. The Final Stand. With the fate of the world hanging in the balance, Max and his father put aside their differences and worked together to unlock the full potential of the artifact. But as they did, they realized that the artifact wasn't just a weapon. It was a gateway, a portal to another dimension where the invaders had come from. Max knew what he had to do. He had to take the artifact through the portal and destroy it on the other side, sealing the gateway forever. But it was a one-way trip. If he succeeded, he would be trapped in the other dimension, cut off from his family and his world. In a heart-wrenching farewell, Max said goodbye to his father and stepped through the portal, the artifact clutched tightly in his hands. On the other side, he found himself in a desolate wasteland, surrounded by the ruins of a once great civilization. The invaders were closing in, but Max was ready. With a final surge of power, he activated the artifact, destroying it and the invaders in a blinding flash of light. Epilogue. The Legacy. Max's father returned to the museum, where he found the glass case empty. The alien's body had vanished, leaving behind only a single message, written in the same symbols as the artifact: "The future is in your hands." Max was never seen again, but his sacrifice was not in vain. The portal was sealed, and the invaders were defeated. The world would never know the full story, but those who were there that day would remember the boy who saved them all. Years later, the museum was closed down, its secrets buried once more. But Max's father never stopped searching for a way to bring his son back. He knew that somewhere, in another dimension, Max was waiting, and he vowed that one day he would find him.